How's it going, guys? So, I've been asked this question a lot. So, I figured I would address this. Um, what is breaking? I'm guess I'm not surprised I get this question quite a bit, but I'm surprised at since we are so new to in terms of how long we've been breaking this, the questions that I get. So, I'm going to start off. What is a sports card break? All right, there's your first question. What is a sports card break? A sports card break is at its core, it's a fairly simple thing. Um, there are two types of people who, really, as I see it, from my experience with sports card breaks, and again, other people may have a different experience than I do, see it differently than I do. But for me, there are really two types of people that get into sports card breaks. Number one, there are team guys. And we're live, so we may get some guys who come in the feed and want to talk. And number two, you are a speculator. Okay. So those are the two, really for me, the two reasons why you would want to be on the buying end of a sports card break. Jeez, crazy cats all over the place. Okay, for me, the reason that I started buying into sports card breaks was simple. I am a fan of the San Francisco Giants. Anyone who breaks with us knows that I keep my Giants cards. I don't put the Giants up as a team in the auctions. Anything I do pull goes into my private collection. I am not interested in speculating on my San Francisco Giants. I'm interested in collecting them. But there was also another reason that I got into um, after I bought the first couple of times. I started to see some reason to want to speculate on sports card breaks. And so I started looking at who are the players in 2018 baseball that might be worth my time. And for you, it could be football, could be basketball, could be hockey. For me, it's a baseball. I'm a baseball guy. Our breaks are based around baseball. We're going to have other sports, but it's really based around baseball because that's what I enjoy the most. And so I found, as I look forward, I wanted a player that I felt like there was some good upside on that I wasn't putting a whole lot of money into. For me, that player was Harrison Bader. I found Harrison Bader, the Cardinals in general, because there's also Tyler O'Neill, there's also Jack Flaherty, had a good upside for the speculation part of it, and so I would bid on my Giants because I wanted to make sure I had the team that I wanted to collect, and I also wanted to bid on the Cardinals, and so to in the hopes that I would get a decent Flaherty card or Harrison Bader every once in a while, or Tyler O'Neill, to do that, to get a card. So those really are your first ones. Either you're really going to be a team collector, or you're coming in this is for speculation. I would suspect that most people who get into card breaks, you're a team collector. Maybe you just like baseball altogether. You've never collected baseball cards. Okay, well then you probably have a team that you like and you follow. Speculating is kind of the second tier of what happens with this. Are there lots of other reasons? Absolutely. But this is for a beginner's guide. This is a beginner. You are a beginner. You've never collected, you've never done a sports break before. Why are the reasons that you might want to get into it? And I think these are the two big ones. Number one, you want to collect cards from your team, which is what I wanted to do. Or number two, you want to speculate on, maybe you want to try to make some money doing this. And that's a perfectly reasonable way to do it too. Risk reward thing. So how do we do that? How do we find these breaks? Okay, and that's the next question. So for me, where did I find the brakes? I found the brakes on eBay. Okay, do a search. Okay, for me, I did a search. I just happened to come across it one day. Truthfully, I was just looking around. I was looking for Giants cards. My kids had actually got me kind of back into this because it was National Sports Pack Day, and they wanted to go to a local card shop because someone had told them about it and get it. Well, I was there. I had picked up a box of 2018 Topps Chrome Jumbles, and we opened it, and we got some great cards out of there. And that got me thinking about the Giants. So I went on eBay and I looked for some Giants cards. And I found, when I did that on eBay, baseball breaks, and I searched for Giants. Okay. And I saw these lots of different things. Primarily at that time, it was 2018 Topps Chrome. And, um, and that's really where, for a beginner, eBay is going to be your best bet. You're going to find lots of different products. You're going to find lots of different things. You're going to find lots of different teams, lots of different stuff to look at. So the eBay is really where that I would start. As you get more advanced, there's lots of guys that have websites, and that's great. And that's where we're eventually going to go with ours as well. But at the beginning, eBay is a great resource to find a way to get in. So once you're in, what do? I mean, you're looking on eBay and you find your team. Here's the things that I would think about. First thing that I would do is research. Okay, I want to start getting on eBay. I want to start buying my San Francisco Giants. I'm a brand new person, and I want to start getting back into my Giants cards. First thing I'm going to do is research. Go on eBay. What is listed? Okay, that would be my first question. Okay, what is listed? What kind of top products are listed? What are you finding there? Beckett. Go to Beckett. There's a checklist on Beckett. It tells you what. If I spell anything wrong, I apologize. Go to Beckett. Okay, they have lots of checklists to be able to look up those cards. Who's in those cards? What is in those cards? How can I get those cards? Okay, look at a checklist. That's what I did. I went to Beckett. I did a search for 2018 Topps Chrome checklist, and that led me to Beckett. When I got on Beckett, I found the Beckett checklist. I started going through there, and I started looking at what are the cards that are available to me. Who are the players I can get out of there? What are the teams I can get out of there? What is going on with that? Okay, so do your research. Now, part of that research, when you're doing that, once you understand this is what I want, okay, so now you have done your research. You have figured out that I want to buy X product. Okay, I've gone to Beckett. I've looked at the checklist. I've gone onto eBay. I've seen that they have, these are the things that are listed that I might be interested in. So I know that based on what is listed on eBay, I've checked out Beckett. I know what cards are in there. So what's next? What is next? What is next? Is check out the breaker. Okay. A great way to check out breakers are feedback. Okay. Feedback is your first indicator. And this is what I did. This is what I did. Number one was feedback. Okay. What does their feedback look like? It's inevitable that for anyone that you're going to have some kind of a problem. So for me, if I looked at a guy and within the last year he had 2 negatives and I looked at those negative feedbacks and both of them were somebody who was unhappy about shipping costs, well, guess what? The person who's complaining about shipping costs, maybe you should have done your research a little bit better. Maybe you should have understood it before you went into it. Because every breaker is going to list what they do and how they do it. Okay? And so that's what you need to do. Check the feedback first. That's number one. Number two, check out what cards ship. Okay? That's the other thing. Okay, what cards ship? Now, for most breakers, all cards ship. Okay, that's pretty universal. But for some, they don't. And this, again, is not a criticism of anyone who does not ship all the cards. I get why you don't do it because it can be a lot of work. 2018 Topps update, I spent many hours sorting and shipping to maintain our 2-day shipping. Okay, it is a lot of work. So you have to understand that. If you are a speculator, you might not care if all the cards ship because you really only want the hits. But if you're a team guy like me, I want all the hits. I want all the base cards. When I get a stack, I want to see that stack of base cards. Okay, I am just not in it just to get a couple of good rookies out of there. I want to see all those base cards. So that's what I do. I want the hits. Don't get me wrong, but I also want to see that. When do they ship? Okay, that's the next question. Okay, because early on, I didn't do the research on when they ship, and that aggravated me a little bit. Not at the breakers, because I don't blame them. It aggravated me because I did not do the proper research and read their item description to know when they ship their cards. Okay, because some of them, the first one I bought into, I think, didn't ship all of the base cards, and it took like 6 days to get it. Well, that just wasn't for me. I wanted my cards quicker. I was, especially when you get into speculation, getting the cards in my mind to whoever's buying them quickly is an important part of what's going on. If you're okay with waiting, by all means wait. That's not a big deal. If you're okay with waiting and with the breakers, some of these guys are really good breakers. I still buy into breaks now with guys that may take longer to ship than I like, but I like them as breakers. I like the product that they have, and so I can live with that. But you have to ask yourself, how often do you want the cards? What cards do they ship, and how often do they ship? If they only ship once a week and you don't like that, well, guess what? Don't buy into that guy, because if you buy that guy's stuff and he only ships once a week, you really can't get aggravated about it. The other thing you can do is ask questions. Send them questions on eBay. I think that's an important part of what goes on. I get questions all the time, and I'm more than happy to answer them. What do you mean by 2-day shipping? I had that question. I had another guy just ask me, what is a sports card break? So that is the other part of this that I think is important. And finally is, when do they break? Okay, when do they break? Do they break the same day? Do they break in 4 days from now? I had a couple that I bid on that aggravated me about me, that I did not notice that I'm paying for a break that is happening in 4 days. I don't want to wait 4 days to see the break. I'm paying for a break that's happening tomorrow morning while I'm at work. I want to watch the break live. That's what I want to do. So that aggravated me about me, for me making those mistakes. So you have to ask yourself that. Am I okay if I pay for a break today? Am I okay with waiting for 4 days for that break to happen? Do I want the break to happen now? That is not a question anyone can answer but you. That is not a question anyone can answer but you. So again, you're checking out the breaker. You're checking out the feedback. Okay? What kind of feedback do they have? Do they seem to be honest? Do people have is there good feedback with them? I don't worry too much about how high that number is, because to me that's just a number. There are guys that have feedback in the low 200s that I've bought from more than one time, who are fantastic breakers, good guys. They just happen to be getting started, and I think that's fine. What card ships? Do you ship every single thing that comes out of that pack? Do I get it all, or am I only getting the hits? Is there a way for me to ask, if you do only ship the hits, is there a way for me to ask you to go ahead and do that? Because I've asked that, and every single time I've asked that, I've been shipped all the cards. But you have to ask that. So read that, make sure you understand that. When do they ship? Do they ship every day? Do they ship every 2 days? Do they ship once a week? Do they ship once a month? Do they wait? Because maybe they don't. Some of these guys don't charge any shipping, have a shipping charge. There's some good ones out there who have no shipping charges at all. But you got to wait for your stuff, and you have to be willing to wait until they're ready to ship. Again, I understand it from their end, and you have to understand it from their end. They're doing this for free on the shipping, and so it's more cost effective for them to wait for one time a week to ship and ship all your stuff that you're buying together. You don't like that? Well, then you're paying shipping. You're going to guys who you're paying, $2.99, $3.50, $3.99. Some of these guys are $4.50, which is perfectly legitimate. I believe me, $4.50 for shipping. While it might sound rough on the buyer's end, on the breaker's end, the guys who are actually doing the work, that's really pretty close to where your break even is on these things. I mean, it really is close to where your break even is. Ours is 350 because I feel like that is a kind of a good balance between really taking it in the shorts where shipping is concerned and not charging so much that the number starts looking rough. Okay. So, and then when do they break? If you're okay with waiting for the break for a week, okay, fine. Do you want it to break today? Well, then you better make sure that you understand that whether when this guy breaks. Is he breaking now? Is he breaking later? You got to understand that. Okay. So those are the important things. If I'm a beginner, those are the things that I'm doing. Okay. Research. What is listed? Understand what is listed by going to Beckett and checking that checklist out. So you have an idea. If I'm a team collector, who are the players on this team? Is my team even part of this break? Is there even a card in there? Because I saw yesterday, and I'm not going to say who, but I noticed that there was. I go through and I look for my San Francisco Giants, a person, a breaker who breaks all the time, who had 2018 Topps High Tech listed. Topps High Tech does not have any San Francisco Giants cards in it, yet they were listed as a team and somebody bought that team. What does that mean? Does that mean that you're going to get a refund on that because there wasn't a team in there, or is it buyer beware? Because I certainly don't believe that that was intentional on the end of the breaker, though let's be honest, they should have done their research and understood what teams in there before they just listed them. And if they are in fact charging you for a team that's not even in the break and not giving you a refund, I am not going back to that guy at all. So that is really though on you, because there's no expectation once you do the break, because all of them having the same thing. All of us have the same thing in there, the basic understanding that there is not a refund. Once you pay, once you buy and once you pay, that's it. So you better understand what is listed. Is your team? Go to Beckett, check out those checklists and see what's going on with it. Then check out the breaker some more. Look at their feedback. Read the item description. What cards ship? When do they ship? When do they break? Okay, those are the foundations. Before you even spend $1, those are the foundations on what you need to do. Okay, those are the foundations on what you need to do. Understand it before you do it. Now, what is after that? I think, and you're not going to get a lot of people who are going to say this to you because, again, anyone who breaks is in it to make money. Losing money is dumb. So you are not doing this because you want to give away cards because you want to lose money at doing this. You want to make money doing it. But there's also a certain amount of ethics for me that go along with what I do. And speaking strictly ethically, there are just things that I just won't do. That I just feel like I should do on my end, say on my end. So that's why I'm doing this video. I want people who do to understand what a break is. B, to go into it intelligently, to go into it with some understanding of what they should look out for, how they should maybe handle themselves when they do it. What I did that gave me some understanding on the trial and error, what are the mistakes that I made? And these are the mistakes that I made. So I want people to understand it. So once you have figured all this out, once you are ready, okay, once you have done your research, what is the next thing? Set a limit. Okay. Look at previous sales. Okay. And there's a way in eBay you can look at previous sales. What did that team sell for previously? Okay. If that team sold for, on average, and kind of get an average, if you're a Dodger fan and the Dodgers sell for, on average, $25, it doesn't make any sense to spend $35 on the Dodgers, does it? I mean, that's just, to me, is silly. If you're a Pittsburgh Pirate fan and every single time something happens with the Pirates, they go out at $5, and you're looking at an auction where they're at 10, if you really want them, I have done that. I have bought the Giants just because I want the Giants in this break. But I had to overpay to get them. And I'm okay with that. You have to ask yourself, are you okay with that? But I would set a limit, because nothing will burn you down faster than buying into breaks. You didn't have a limit and you lost your mind and you bid, and oh my Lord, why did I do that? A team that I wanted for $30 end up paying $80 for. Then you're mad at yourself, and then if they open it up and nothing happens in that, then you're aggravated at the guy who's breaking and you feel like you've been slighted when in fact all of that was your fault. Okay? Set a limit. This is the amount that I will not go past. Okay? Look at previous sales if you haven't done this before to get an idea. In eBay, you can see everything. You can see what the previous team sold for. Do that 2018 Topps Chrome Dodgers team break. Okay, it'll bring up all the Dodgers stuff that are broken for that. If it's a hobby, is it jumbo? You have to know that, and you have to look at all that. But set a limit. Okay, and that again, when we talk about, I mentioned that hobby and jumbo. That goes back to the beginning. Of what they are and where they're at. Okay, understanding your product is important. Doing your research is important, but set a limit every single time and say to yourselves, I am not going to go past that limit. Okay, and base that on previous sales. Unless you really want it, base it on previous sales, because that gives you an idea of what it's gone for before, so you are not overspending and you are not putting any kind of an undue stress or burden on yourself. You're not burning yourself out of breaking, because burning yourself out on breaking is easy to do if you don't do this smart. Okay? If every single time the Los Angeles Angels come up as a team and you look and you don't do your research and come to find out there's only one Ohtani that you can get, and it's an insert hit and it only shows up one every 10 cases, and you're spending $150 a pop to get that Ohtani, that's a little dumb. I mean, let's just say it like it is. That is a little dumb. That doesn't make any sense to me. And as someone who is on both sides of this, as a breaker, do I love it when you do that? Absolutely, I love it when you do that. Do I feel bad when you don't get those hits? I feel bad when people don't get hits. Okay? And I would rather someone did the proper research, paid a reasonable price to speculate on those teams, than lose their mind on a product or a team or a player that is just not, it's just not realistic. It's just not realistic. So you have to look at that. Do your research properly. Set a limit for yourself. I will not go beyond $25 for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Put your bid in at $25, okay? And look at previous sales, whatever it is. Set your limit and get there. Okay, now you've won. Now what? Uh-oh. Now you've won. Now what? Okay, first off, one of the things that I can say to you guys most assuredly is pay promptly. Don't play these games. I get people that like to play these games with me. Okay, they will. It doesn't happen. I've got a good core. My core of guys is a good core. They are good guys. They pay right away. I don't have a problem with that. Okay, but here's what you should do on your end. You have bid on that team. You have won that team. Even if you lost your mind and you overpaid for that team, you should always pay for it promptly, because a lot of these breakers, I am not one of them, but a lot of these breakers, this is the way they make their living. And you bid on it ethically, do the right thing and just pay for it, and bite the bullet, and don't do it again if that's not what's going to happen, but pay promptly. Nothing is worse than when you get down to a break and someone has bid $45 for the St. Louis Cardinals and does not pay $45 for the St. Louis Cardinals, because quite often that is the difference between profit and loss on a break. Okay, so when you don't do the right thing, when you don't pay for that team like you should, you are hurting somebody, and that is just not the right thing to do. That is not the right place to be. And I will tell you right now that if that happens once, I block you. If it happens once, I block you. I will send out an email and I will ask you what happened. I get good responses from some of these guys, but then from a few, I got the same old crappy response. Oh, I bid on it, but I fell asleep. No, you didn't. You bid on it, and then you wanted to wait and see what came out of there before you paid for it. I'll give you a good example of what I'm talking about. I had a guy who, and this isn't it, but I had a guy who bid on the Atlanta Braves. Didn't pay for the Atlanta Braves break. Okay, $136.50. That ate my entire profit. I had two choices. He didn't pay by break time. Resell it or keep it for myself. I chose to keep it for myself because I had a feeling, and I wound up pulling a Ronald Acuna card that I sold the next day for $300. Okay? Then the next morning I get an email from this guy. Oh, sorry, I fell asleep. Can I pay for it now? Really? Can I pay for it now? No. If you're one of those guys, I would ask A, that you stay away from my breaks, and B, stay away from breaking altogether. because that is kind of crappy. You won the cards. Now what? You pay promptly. Okay? You pay promptly. That is what you should do. I don't even know why I should have to tell people that, except that every break there's some joker with zero feedback who comes in and puts in some big bet, and I know they do it on purpose, to be a jerk. And then you have to go through the process of selling it. If people would just bid and pay promptly like they're supposed to, there wouldn't be a problem. Okay? And if you again, I've had times I put in a $300 bid one time on the Angels, for absolutely no good reason except that I had a hunch, and my hunch ended up being nothing. Okay, but I paid it. I paid it promptly. I bit the bullet. I wound up with like 4 Ohtanis out of the whole thing and no Trouts. Okay, that's how good that break was. But it's not the breaker's fault. It's not anyone's fault. I'm the one who bid on it. I make sure I pay promptly with all my breaks. Okay? So then what? Okay, now you paid promptly and you watch the break. Watch the break. Okay? I always watch the break, because I want to know what happened at the break. Number one thing I do is I keep a list. Keep a list. I keep a list of what hit. If something hit for me, I write it down. Okay? I write it down. So, because not that I think anyone's being dishonest with me, I don't think that is the case. What I want to know is, I did do lots of breaks. I want to remember what I got from who, and B, I do like to verify what I got when it came in. If a breaker made a mistake, I have not had one who's ever not been ethical with me and made it right. And for us, if we make a mistake, we are going to make it right. That is just the way it is. But I keep a list of all my hits. When I get the cards in, I check against my list. Who did I get? Did they send me everything? Okay. Sometimes I have to go back and watch the everything. Okay, and make sure that I have it. So you're watching the break. Even if you don't watch it live, watch the break. Keep a list of your hits. Okay, and then wait patiently. I mean, that's the only thing you can do. Wait patiently. Wait for your cards to come in the mail. If you're a speculator, hope that they come quickly so you can turn them fast. If you're a team collector, you're just waiting patiently for those suckers to come because you're putting them in your big stack. Let me show you something just so I can get you a frame of reference of how many breaks I do. I should have had this out ahead of time, and I apologize, and I wasn't going to, but I figured now I will. Okay. This is how many breaks I do. This is one box of the stuff I collect, of the stuff I buy. 2018 Topps Chrome. Name it. Okay. Torres, Stratton, Ryder Jones. Okay, this is what I do. I do this because I enjoy it, because I am a fan of the San Francisco Giants, and I collect my San Francisco Giants cards. Okay. Autographs. This is out of 10. This is out of 5. Okay. So you wait patiently for them, and you enjoy your teams, and you enjoy your break. If you do it responsibly, if you think about it before you do it, if you do your research, if you set a limit for yourself so you don't lose your mind, you will have fun. Okay? Breaks can be fun. I get to know the guys who do our breaks with us, because I like to, it's kind of a social thing for me. I like to talk to the people. I get people chatting because I like to chat. I get people going because I like to go. So we have fun with our breaks. So if you do it right, okay, if you take the time to do your research first on your team, if you take the time to figure out what it is you want, what do you want out of these breaks? How much do you want to pay for the breaks? what are you okay with from the brakes? Do you shipping and everything else? You have to make up your mind, because whatever it is, you'll find it. And as you get more advanced, there are single player breaks, there are random breaks, there are division breaks, there are all kinds of things you can get into. But it's important to understand the basics before anything else happens, and understanding the basics is everything we've gone over. So let's just go over it again. Just so, what is a sports card break? It is just you having a good time, picking your team. Okay? Are you a team collector, or are you a speculator? Figure it out. What is it you want out of this? What is it you want to do? Okay? How do we find a break? We go first off, the easiest place to go, the place to start is eBay, because you will find there, do a baseball card break, and you will find it. Research. What is listed? Go to Beckett. Check out the breaker, because you want to know. Set yourself a limit. Okay? Now you've won, now what? Pay promptly. Okay? And then watch the break. Keep a list of what's going on. Now, there's one other thing that I failed to mention that I will go over now. And I should have had this earlier, but what is the break size? Okay? Case? Half case? Box? Okay, what is it? What are they breaking? That is something else, and I apologize for missing that. What is the break size? Okay, generally speaking, the two that you're going to run into most are a case and a half case. Okay? And keep that and bear that in mind as you're going through looking at it. How many cases come in the break? What is it? What is going on with that? That is the other part of your research. Okay, what is a break? What is the break size? Okay, understand that as you figure out the money, figure out what you're doing, figure out how you're doing it. Okay, so I apologize for forgetting that. Okay, so that is a part of your research. So make sure you do that as part of your research. If you follow these basic steps, if you do the basic things, if you understand what a break is, if you understand what each breaker offers, if you understand how they offer it, if you make sure you set your limits. I can't stress that enough. I cannot stress that. That to me is the most important thing. That when I look at some of our breaks and I say to myself, wow, there's just no way on earth that I would pay that much money for what somebody bet. And I will often ask them, what happened? Did you just have one of those situations like I've had, where I say to myself, I want this team no matter what. Okay, if you have one of those situations, that is fine. But I think I also feel bad when it's someone that I haven't seen before, because if your intro into breaking is you just saw this team and you spent $80 and you're just going to get a bunch of commons out of it, I'm going to feel a little bad for you, and you're going to feel a little bad when you're done. So please do your research. Please understand who is breaking. Please understand what they are breaking. Please understand when they ship. Please understand how they ship. Please understand when they break those cards. Please do your research. Do your homework. Understand what is going on with the break, and you will have a lot of fun with the break. Okay? But understanding what a sports card break is very important. It's very important to how we do that, and truthfully, it's very important to the breaker and what will happen with breakers moving forward. People who are going to come in and burn themselves out quickly don't really benefit the guys who are doing it long term. The ones that benefit the guys who are doing it long term is the guys who put in the homework, put in the time to understand it, put in the time to make sure they know what's going on with whatever they're bidding on. Again, is it great sometimes when you have those, and I've had those days when you just are bidding on a ton of stuff, and does that look great on the for the guy who's doing the breaks? Absolutely it does, but those guys tend to burn themselves out pretty quickly. I like the guys who understand what is going on, who have a vested interest in it. Maybe their only vested interest is they like to come in the channel, they like to buy a team, they like to hang out. Hallelujah. So you don't spend a lot of money on a team, or you just don't even buy. Come in and hang out on the channel. We don't care. But if you do your homework, if you do it right, you will enjoy sports card breaks. You will enjoy being a part of the breaks, part of the break culture, part of the community of the person who is doing the breaking. So please take the time to do that. Understand what you're getting yourself into before you put a penny into it. Take the time to do your research, because that will be the most fun. That will be the most important. You will get the most long-term enjoyment out of this. A quick hit because someone told me I should go buy Shohei Ohtani, and oh my lord, it's 150. Most everyone knows what they're doing, and here, let me bid it up to 300. And oh crap, there's only one Shohei Ohtani out of every 10 cases. Happens, but it doesn't have to. So do your homework, do your research, take a look at it, understand it. You have any questions, with what we are doing, you can feel free to put them on the bottom. I will check here from time to time. Feel free to send them to me on eBay. For us, we are Restless Craft on eBay. If you want to check us out, we send me a question through eBay. Restless Break. Let's try that again. Restless Craft. Okay. That is us on eBay. Okay. If you have a question, send me a question. I will answer it. I will answer it honestly. I will answer it openly. I do not answer questions from the standpoint of someone who's trying to sell you something quick and get you out of here. I do it from the point of someone who wants you to understand what is going on, how it's going on, because I want to see you do a part of this long term. So there it is, Thursday night. Figured I wanted to talk to you about it since I've had so many questions about it. If there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. If not, we have some great breaks coming up. We hope you will join us. Have a good night.